Okay, hello and welcome to episode 9 of the LKB Podcast. Super excited, little gap between podcasts here, but you know, sometimes life's a bit busy, but we crack straight back on as soon as we can. And I've got Mark today, hubby, back in. And we wanted to bring you guys our trip to Florence and Pisa, which we went on back in May. Was it May?
Early May.
And we actually went because we like to get away anyway on our own because we think it's important as a married couple, keeping it fresh and all that. But also we have been together 20 years this year.
Long, glorious years, Laura.
Absolutely, of course. And so that was our trip to get away, which I would like to say because of busy schedules as well. And we almost didn't go just because we're just so full on just with life, as we all are. We almost didn't go. And then we made this decision that we did go. And thank God we did.
Yeah, good decision.
Yeah, it was a great decision. We had such a good time. And I know I documented it on my Instagram and on my stories and stuff. I had so many people saying, oh my God, I really want to go there. Where did you eat? Where did you do this? All that. So I thought, you know what? The easiest way around this is to bring a podcast to you. So Mark and I are here today. We've had to go over everything. I did make notes, thank God, at the end of the trip. And thank God I did because it has taken us back, hasn't it?
It was good. We laughed at the time and you put a few things onto paper and then, to relive it was actually a lot of fun, wasn't it?
Exactly. So I've got the notes here on my phone in notes like everyone has when they're writing stuff down, when they're out and about. And so we're going to take you from the very beginning and then we was there for Friday to Monday.
Yeah, 3 nights.
Yeah, so we're going to take you over the whole thing and you can grab all little bits of information that you wish. And I hope you enjoy it and let us know.
Funny stories along the way.
If you need us to travel anywhere else, just let us know and we'll come back with a report. So we flew out of Southend firstly. That's the only reason why I booked Pisa, because I thought, I bought the flights for your birthday actually, didn't I? And I thought, right, I want to go from Southend to make it easy as parents, just getting, don't want Gatwick and all that lifts to the airport. So Southend, I saw the only place at the time that we hadn't been from Southend, and they obviously don't fly to that many places, was Pisa. And I thought, okay, Italy, there's loads of places we want to go in Italy. Booked Pisa. And then I was like, I've heard before and through one of our Italian friends, they're like, you can do Pisa in a day, really like quite quickly. There's not a huge amount there. So I looked to see what was close or not too far, and Florence was the closest destination pretty much. And I thought, oh my God, brilliant. We can jump on a train rather than get taxis. We can jump on a train because it was like an hour and a half away, I think. And so that's what we did. So we flew from Southend and of course it's always a breeze, isn't it?
Yep.
We jumped on the train in the morning, saw our nephew on the platform and made our way there. And when we was there, we saw a hen do at the airport, which surprised us.
There was only one flight going out, so it could only be the destination of Florence.
Yeah.
Pisa.
Now, tell me, people listening, would you think of going to Florence or Pisa for your hen or stag do?
I don't think stag do's would typically go there, but for a more educated female group of individuals, it's probably a nice place to go.
Yeah. So anyway, funnily enough, they were on our plane, and it was either when we got back or not, or someone messaged me on Instagram. I don't know who you were, but they were like, oh, my friend was on a hen do flying out to Pisa this morning. And I was like, oh, she was one of the crowd.
Yeah.
So, so we headed over to Pisa by plane. And when we got there, Mark, explain what happened when we got there.
Well, we
had intentions of going to Pisa
We had intentions of having like just under half a day in Pisa, get there, have a little look round because we're there.
Yeah.
Grab a bit of lunch, glass of wine, and then jump on a train to go to Florence. So, we come off of the train. I think it comes into out of about 27, 28 train lines. It comes into 1 or 2. And then the directions to get out of Pisa Central station is incredibly confusing and pretty poor.
God.
It just says you can go under there or you can go out there.
And we weren't the only ones, were we? Everyone was like looking gormlessly at signs going, huh?
And then there's this sort of like backside entrance right next to us. So we trottle out there with our trolleys behind us.
God.
Into just this, I commented it was like Beirut. It wasn't as bad as that. but it was, it was tower blocks of flats and it was a bit grubby. And we're thinking, this doesn't look like a central station.
And by this point, we're in, I think I'm in flip-flops. I know I'm in flip-flops because of the run we had to do later on.
Yeah.
And we've gone back and forth.
So we're thinking, this isn't right. This isn't right. So then we'll go back. So then we go underneath, across luckily enough, we went underneath because we knew we were going after that.
Yes.
Literally, this tunnel goes forever. It's a bit like Shenfield Station, but 50 times longer than that.
Yeah.
Anyway, find our way upstairs. Right, okay, this is the entrance. Go out of another wrong entrance into like the back of some, I don't know, some weird building that was all filthy. And so instantly, we've not got the right vibe.
We weren't feeling Pisa within like half an hour, were we?
So he's like, let's just sack this off and go straight to Florence.
Yeah. So we did that. So we literally went straight to the train ticket machine and thought, right, okay, because after travelling as well, you do kind of want to settle down. But something actually, and what we were going to do, and this is worth mentioning, is they have lockers that you can put your stuff in to then go and venture around Pisa for the day and then come back.
They have that in Florence as well. Most cities do.
Oh, okay. Brilliant. Well, I've never known or done it here, but then I don't really travel around England. But so that's what we were going to do, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We was going to put our suitcases in we only took wheel-alongs and we were going to do that and then head out to Pisa. But we didn't. We jumped on a train. Well, we almost missed the train.
We tried our best to miss it.
Oh, my God. So we got our tickets. It was cheap, wasn't it? Do you remember how much it was?
Yeah, so we went on the internet on like train line equivalent of Pisa.
Yeah.
And it said, right, okay, in, 22 minutes, there's a direct train.
That's right.
54 minutes or something like that, lovely and quick. So we bought our ticket and then we looked up at the board and it said platform, I don't know, 6, let's call it 6B.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, that's just up and out.
Yeah,
okay.
It was one because I remember,
Number
that's
one.
Easy to find because it'll be at the end.
So we just got out, turned right, it was there. So there was not really many people about. We were standing there and then I'm thinking, okay, we've got sort of like 12 minutes. It should arrive soon because it's quite a big station and they're quite reliable. Got to 6 minutes away, then I'll start panicking. I'm a panicker. If those people that know me, I'm a bit of a panicker. So I'm thinking, this is not right. Laura just doesn't care about anything. It's like, the world can just go by. And I said, I'm going to ask these policemen. So I said to the policemen, they got onto their phone and they was like, no, you need to go to platform, let's call it 4.
And they were Italian and didn't speak much English.
And they just pointed, didn't they? Pointed. So I was like, Laura, we've got 2.5 minutes to go.
Oh, my God.
Of course, it was down all these stairs, through this bloody tunnel again, but it was only the second entrance up the tunnel, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then they've got another 50 stairs up. Laura's lost a flip-flop.
Oh, my God.
Take the suitcase, take the suitcase. I've luckily got trainers on, so I've got both suitcases running up this thing. I get in there, I'll get in there, hold the doors. Beep, 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 beep,
And we got in.
You get in, literally the door's shut behind your flip-flop.
Yeah.
And we're there panting.
Oh, my God.
Is this the right one? Yeah, it is the right one.
And we were on the right track. And I'm pretty sure we paid, how much for this train? 15 euros?
Oh,
each?
it's nothing, yeah.
It was
16, 17
yeah, it was really
euros.
cheap, by the way, to do the trains rather than getting taxis because it was like an hour journey,
Taxi
hour,
would
10
have been
minutes.
a couple of £100.
Yeah, without a doubt. So definitely do that. And the trains are massive. They're like 3-story.
Yeah, they're good. They're like a double-decker bus, but bigger and got toilets everywhere.
Yeah, they're really, really
Which
good.
is good if you're old like me and need to go every 10 minutes.
Keep going away. Well, we got on the train and there was an interesting character. Do you remember that guy?
Well, he got on the we stopped. He got on with some electric bike, didn't he, with some other fella.
That's it.
And he was like a pirate.
He was just like a pirate. He absolutely stank, didn't he? Do you remember?
It was an interesting smell rather than horrible. It was just basically he's hot.
Oh, that's very kind of you.
Well, we worried. We thought he'd kill us at some point.
Well,
until he started befriending the whole carriage.
He picked up this whole big block thing, which was the charge for his bike, wasn't it? You said, and then he wanted to plug it in. He was really polite.
He's leaning over everyone, isn't he?
He just didn't care, did he? He was like a free spirit on this train.
Yeah.
It was so funny, and he plonked himself down to that guy, didn't he?
Some random fella just started rolling cigarettes and just befriended this guy. And then they're chatting like they've been mates forever, haven't they?
Oh, it was so funny. And we had a group of girls next to us that were like, "Oh my God, who is this guy?"
They were on a hen do or someone's birthday because they were quite posh, weren't they?
Yeah.
And they were going, oh yeah, we're going to meet Molly and all this stuff. And yeah, she's had some problems. And they're all slagging the people off they're about to meet. It's well funny, yeah. Typical girls, by the way.
That was a great conversation to listen to. So yeah, he was a character. So, as soon as we got there was just stuff going on constantly that was entertaining. And I think when you take kind of public transport as well, you're always going to, have a bit of a culture. I don't know if we can call it culture, but a bit of culture come on board. Culture shock. Yeah. So anyway, we arrived at Florence and we knew that from the station to our hotel was minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah, 6 minutes. It was literally around the corner. Yeah.
Round the corner. Can't even remember. I wasn't recommended this hotel. I think I'd looked for quite central, obviously a certain budget. And this one had a rooftop bar.
And a swimming pool, which obviously we took our swimming gear, never went out, even out there once.
Swimming pool?
Yeah, had a swimming pool in the garden.
Did it?
Yeah, because we were going to eat breakfast next to it, but we didn't in the end.
Oh, God. Oh, sorry. Yes. Yep. I fully remember now. Yeah, because it was a bit chilly, wasn't it, in the mornings at this point?
Well, it was in the shade, wasn't it?
It was in the shade, yeah. So it did have a swimming pool, you're right. And that was another thing that I had looked for. But, you don't really need that in Florence, if I'm honest.
No.
We just know that we might have wanted a couple of hours around the pool in the afternoon or something.
We thought on the last day when we checked out,
yes,
we might chill out there for an hour or so and have a sunbathe and just recuperate and then get on the train to Pisa. But it didn't happen.
We didn't.
We got smashed instead.
A typical Florence hotel that, there's no atmosphere around the pool. It's just a dead quiet and people probably just grab an hour here and there. But anyway, our hotel was called Hotel Croc de Malta is where we stayed. Highly recommend it. Really lovely. And also, once we'd been and experienced all the piazzas, which is like the squares, for those who maybe don't know that, and we'll go into those in a minute. But we were actually located at our favourite one, wasn't we? Good. And I don't know if that's because when you get somewhere, it's like going to a hotel and you're in your room and you think your room's always going to be the best one, or it feels like the nicest one because that's where you're staying. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know. I think it's just it was less busy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was less busy.
It was bigger.
So we got into a hotel and our little room was funny. What about our balcony?
Oh, hilarious.
It was so funny. We booked it so late, by the way, because we weren't sure if we were going to go, then realised it was going to cost us about 400 quid if we cancelled and moved the flights. We booked the hotel so last minute. I remember a couple of days before, people were going, have you booked your hotel yet? I go, no. And I'm really chilled out about that.
Have you booked anything?
No. And I'm really chilled out about that stuff because at the end of the day, we've got access to blooming everything these days. So there's always something, whether it's Airbnb, booking.com. And so I booked it super last minute. So we were probably in one of their last rooms available, and it said, little balcony. Well, Mark, explain the balcony.
Right. So so there was air and there was light going into the room. And then I thought, I'm going to go and have a look at the balcony. And have a look. You can imagine, have a look over Florence.
Which we
were quite high up. So
yeah.
We were higher than most of the rooftops. And Florence is like, it's like the scene out of a Bond movie or like an action movie where you could just run or ride a motorbike for probably as far as you can go.
Aladdin's
and just
another
jump
one for
in.
that.
So it's a bit like that. So it's quite quirky and quite cool. And we could see that once you'd sort of navigated to not take the crown of your head off. From that bang that you actually hit your head on, didn't you?
I did.
And then you sort of there's one step going up, and then there was some wicker little chair that you had to sort of crouch under this thing. It was the most weird. You can't even explain it.
I don't think I ever took any photos or videos.
The only way to enjoy that balcony is to stand up in this little stairwell and the balcony will be there, and your face is just looking out, and you just.
And then you look around and see roofs.
Yeah. It's not typically we get to a hotel room and you'll be chilling out, and I'll go and get a couple of beers and some pistachio nuts and just enjoy a bit of music
on the balcony that we know we had.
And I turned around and said, "There's going to be no pistachio nuts being enjoyed on this little thing." It's hilarious.
So funny. So we got changed and I think we went and quickly looked at the rooftop bar, and we did. We quickly went up there, which was lovely and really was. You could see all over Florence. It was stunning. You could see all of the where the cathedral was and all the different what's it called? Architecture.
Yeah.
But anyway, it wasn't open yet. The bar wasn't open, so we quickly got changed out of what you're travelling in, and we went over to our piazza, and we thought, right, let's go and get food.
Which was literally 50 metres away.
Oh, it was like over the road, wasn't it? Like you could see it from the rooftop like where we were. And so we went there, and like you walk along and you think, oh, what restaurant kind of takes our fancy? It was a bit cloudy at this point. I thought it was going to bloody rain, for God's sake. And anyway, so we got outside a restaurant, and we sat and had lovely food. And I know we ordered so much because everyone was like,
it's like a cheese and charcuterie board, wasn't it? As well as other stuff.
One for two, like for two of you, and then ordered more. And loads of people replied on Instagram going, is that just for you two? And I'm like, yeah,
we did the whole table, didn't it?
We did the lot.
And then I ordered a large beer, and it was like a stein.
Yeah, that's it.
I've never seen a stein in Italy. And I had to go and get, like, you got this lovely little dainty beer or a glass of wine. I'm thinking, I've got such drink envy. But I got rid of it.
Yes, you got rid of that, and I helped you a little bit on that. And then we had a bottle of wine with that beautiful food. And Karim was our waiter.
Karim, yeah, brilliant.
He was fab, wasn't he? Mark always finds out the names of waiters or waitresses, don't you?
Yeah, it's the law. You have to. It's not the law.
No one
most
does
people
it.
Don't know. So the reason being is, if you think waiters or waitresses will serve so many people, and people just order their food, receive it, either complain about it or just pay the bill and go. No one takes an interest in waiters or waitresses, and it's probably quite an unloved job.
Yeah.
So if you ask someone's name and you interact with them, they'll appreciate that, and you'll get a better service, and it'll be a better experience for them, better experience for you, and they'll feel nice, and you'll feel nice, and it's lovely, and they appreciate it. Instead of saying excuse me, you can say, oh, Karim. They're more likely to tune into
over the camera.
They're more likely to tune into the hearing their own name, and you'll get their attention rather than going, excuse me, it's just rude.
Yeah, it's true.
So
and it does make it more personable. And typically everyone always looks after us when we're at a restaurant,
Correct.
Probably because of you. But you do have that, it's not annoying. But even with a menu as well, he'll ask a waiter or waitress, what would you have?
Yeah, if you were me, out of these three, what would you have? You see the stuff every day, what would you have? And they always go, oh, I'd go for that one. And I'll go, okay, I'll have that. And I'm never disappointed.
Yeah, okay. All right. Fair point.
Yeah. And we're always lucky as well. I don't know if it's just luck of us. We're always lucky with tables. We'll walk up to a restaurant and we go, oh, those ones at the front look nice. And then literally as we get there, someone will walk up.
Yeah, and then we've got like front seat. However, in this piazza, and I don't know if we noticed it anywhere else, but the pigeons there wasn't loads. It had started to rain a little bit, and these pigeons were basically hanging around to try and get your food. And they're not shy, these pigeons. They'll literally come to your table, won't they? Like seagulls.
They won't come on your table, but they start walking around, and you don't like that sort of stuff, do you?
No, I bloody hate it.
I mean, they're not on you, but you'll go.
So at this restaurant, they give you like these sticks, and all I could explain, I was like, oh, it's like being in Harry Potter, like having a wand. And as soon as the pigeons come near, you've just got this thing to flick them away with.
Yeah, you do that.
So that was
so I'd always go, Expelliarmus and stuff.
So that was funny. We were there for probably a couple of hours, weren't we? Waited till the rain stopped, which it did. And then the sun came out. It was a bit of a mixture of weather, which I feel like I've had everywhere I've gone to this year. And that was it. Then we went back and got changed for dinner. One thing that Mark and I do very well, if we have a city break, we love seeing architecture. We love feeling the culture. We love walking around, getting our steps in, of course. We're not overly fussed about going into places and hearing the full history. So what we do, we plonk ourselves outside a beautiful building or in like a very popular area. We love to people watch and eat and drink. And
looking at the architecture. I've got zero interest going in, which is blasphemy.
Yeah.
Because I said to my boss when we got back, he goes, oh, I love Florence. Florence is one of my best places. What was your favourite thing? I said, well, the favourite thing was just eating and drinking and just with all this lovely backdrop of architecture. You never went in. Like, no, he goes, I need to upskill you on wanting to learn about this stuff. I was like,
I think you're either into it or you're not, or does it come with
just
age?
Into just being away and
it can't come with age because you're older than me.
Taking it all in,
Yeah.
I just feel I've got this vision of just shuffling through like penguins.
Yeah.
And then there's all this statue of David, which I've seen on the TV and statues everywhere. I don't need to see it.
No,
but it's nice to be around it.
I feel the same. We're on the same page with that, which obviously helps when all we want to do is just plonk ourselves down and eat and drink. So, as soon as we finished that lovely, massive load of food and that, we was thinking where we're going to go for dinner. So
natural.
So we went back, we got changed. I'm sure that's when we went up to the rooftop bar and had like an Aperol or something. And appreciated the views from up there. There was a couple of other people up there. That is when we did that. And and got changed. And then, do you know what? We didn't book any restaurants, even though a couple of people had advised us, oh, book restaurants. Now, I think if you're looking on Instagram for the most popular places and, you know, the rooftop ones, which are limited, I think, in Florence, then, yeah, maybe you need to book. But we love going with the flow. We like that at home.
Mm-hmm.
We like that with our weekends. We just like to go with the flow and not book ourselves into something that we're actually,
But if we'd have booked ourselves into a rooftop one that night, it would have been
raining.
There'd
Rain again later. So we literally got to the room and just quickly Googled something, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then was like, oh, that's around the corner, a steak place. We fancied steak. So
so Florence is famous for the Firenze, which is I think I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, but Firenze is Florence, how the Italians say it, I believe.
Right.
Because my bottle opener says Firenze on. And it's about the Florence or the Florentine steak. And it's like a big, like tomahawk sort of type steak. And you're supposed to have it rare. And it looks like it's going to run off the plate, like proper rare. They don't really want to serve it anything else apart from how it's supposed to be served.
Yeah, and I remember him saying that.
And it said, 5-star reviews for this Firenze steak. And I said, it's there. It's literally like 3 minutes walk away.
Little lane that we walked down daily, really, didn't we? To like go into the rest of Florence. It was called Gilo Restaurant, Gilo. I think there's two because when we was on the golf buggy, do you remember his friend owned it or something? But he had another one somewhere else.
Yeah, that was. I think that was in another city.
Oh, okay. So Gilo Restaurant. Honestly, it was incredible. The food was fantastic.
It was only small, wasn't it?
So small.
As in, not the food.
No, not the food.
Actually, the restaurant.
And and it was fab. And we did order the what's it called?
Firenze steak or the Florence steak.
Yeah. So we had that and it was lovely. And just an FYI, we didn't book anything for the whole weekend apart from the next day, which we'll go into now. So on day 2, we got up, went down for breakfast in our hotel, we called her Mrs. Dolmio. You didn't ask for her, maybe you didn't ask for her name on this one. We just called her Mrs. Dolmio.
Her name was Francesca.
Oh, wow, well done. Because she just looked like the Italian lady on the front of a Dolmio jar.
She basically was Mario's wife.
Yeah, she did look like that.
She was Mario.
And so we got ourselves a lovely breakfast and then, of course, like filled our boots with that again. And then they
made amazing coffee, didn't they?
Yeah, they did lovely coffee. You could ask for just a normal coffee, but you'd add, if flat white or something like that, then you got.
They had a coffee machine, but then they had a proper decent one behind a little bit.
In restaurants, don't always go to the coffee machines. Ask the staff.
And
that's the
don't
trick.
Always go up and have a fried egg that's been in a terrine for ages.
Yeah,
places will always do everything fresh for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's never additional cost.
No, so Mrs. Dolmio was very, very helpful with that. We got our stuff on. We went. Oh, this is the morning. We went up onto the rooftop bar.
Oh God!
Obviously, we'd talk about our experience there, and hopefully, you're going to pick up some tips as we go. But we went up to the rooftop bar, so we said, "Oh, we'll have a morning view," and it was absolutely stunning. And we had a couple of pictures, and then this couple were there, weren't they?
Yeah.
And
she was literally dressed as if she was in a ski resort. She was. You couldn't see it. You could literally barely see any skin. So she obviously didn't like the sun. She said she doesn't like the sun, did she?
No, and a hat she had on, didn't she? Yeah. And we was having photos, and she said, "Oh, did she offer to take or offered her husband services?"
No, she wasn't a husband.
Oh,
it must have been like her son who was foreign.
Really?
He's like her Italian son. Yeah, he was fully Italian, but he spoke English as well.
Right.
I don't know how they're together. Maybe an internet romance. I don't
know.
So
she offered his services.
She said, "Oh, he does the best pictures. Use him. Oh my God, he knows everything. He's so good at photography." Worst pictures I've ever seen.
Yeah, they were dreadful. And as he was taking them, what was she saying to him? She just bigged him up massively, but then was absolutely ripping him to shreds, wasn't she?
I can't remember.
When
I was just thinking how much she was a joker.
You can't remember it?
No, not really. Once I'm channeling in on something, I can't sort of take in anything else. And I was channeling in on how much of a knob she was.
Oh, you did. Yeah, that was an experience up there with them. I couldn't get away.
And then you said, "I'll take a picture of you guys." "Oh no, not me. I don't get in photos." "Oh no, not me." Yeah. "Take a picture of him. He loves a photo. He does."
Yeah, that's it. And I ended up taking photos of just him.
And we were trying to get away.
She didn't even do it.
She kept on telling us stuff, and she was saying about, this hotel's nice. It's got a nice.
That's it.
It's got a nice bar. This lovely bar up here is nice, but our hotel's much better than this one. And I was just thinking, piss off, back to it then. It's moany old sod.
That's it. That's what she was saying. Yeah, she wasn't ripping him apart. She was ripping our hotel apart.
Yeah.
I thought, how bloody rude. But anyway, so that was an interesting meet. Then we went to up on the rooftop. Yeah, we went.
We had a nice long walk, didn't we, to that the bridge that's got all the shops on it, the famous one.
Yeah, and went to the Basilica di Santa Firenze. Do I sound Italian when I say that?
No.
No. Basilica di Santa Ferenzi. And we had croissants because we'd already had breakfast and then felt the need to have a beautiful
They were
coffee and a
savoury ones, weren't they?
pastry. Oh
Weren't
my
they
God,
savoury
they were
ones?
so good. It was a savoury. A brown. It was a brown.
It was a brown
whole grain.
croissant with, like, then it had some sort of dusting on.
Oh, it was so
It was
good.
so good. Yeah, it was good. And the coffee was so good.
And we knew, we already had golf buggy booked. So another thing that we do, so we did loads of walking around, but if you're someone that's happy to see things from the outside and in the space of an hour and a half, then definitely get the golf buggies because we loved it. We just thought it was it suited us.
Terrifyingly fun, wasn't
it
it?
was so funny when I thought, I'm going to be sick on this. But before that, we were sat in this other piazza and was looking. There was so many Americans and Australians. We couldn't believe it, could we?
Mm-hmm.
So many Australians and Americans, and loads of them wearing the Hoka trainers. Do you remember? You were like, they've got them on as well. They've got them on.
Everyone from every way of life had a pair of Hoka trainers on, and I'd only ever seen them once before, maybe in an airport.
Yeah, hilarious. So something.
Are they any good? Don't know.
Yeah, tell us.
Write us a comment.
Yeah, we don't have a pair. So yeah, golf buggy. We went with Eco Florence Tours.
It's good.
Eco Florence Tours. There was loads going around, so you can't go wrong with it. I don't think you just turn up.
They all hang about. They all congregate at that sort of depot, don't they? Just
yeah,
around the corner.
Yeah, and I think there's a few depots all over. So we got on there. We sat on, and I was like, I really want to sit on the back, so we're facing out. I don't want to be like. I had my preference on where we sit, and the people that were there before us had no option because I just sat.
No, but they probably wanted the back, and then we quickly realised that the back is
having it.
Treacherous.
Oh yeah, as soon as we started going, it was like, Jesus, hold on.
They're so fast, aren't they?
Well, they're not so fast, but
they're faster than a golf buggy, because they're supposed to combat traffic, aren't they?
Yeah.
And you just literally go.
We were like, ooh.
Like, if anyone's driven an electric car, they're very instant, aren't they? And it was very much whoa, whoa.
Yeah, and within minutes, I actually thought this is going to be awful. I feel sick.
You're acclimatised, though, don't you?
You're acclimatised, and it was great fun, and we loved that. So highly recommend doing that if you're someone that wants to get round and see things quickly. They let you get off at each stop, have a couple of pictures and stuff. You can go in.
Tell you about it, don't they? It's good.
They let you go in, but my shoulders were out. Little tip, my shoulders were out. So I couldn't go into some. There was taking place.
Just down from that gyro restaurant, there's a church that you could go into.
Yeah, and some places had services, so we couldn't go in, which,
that was Sunday though.
We weren't that overly fussed.
But that big one we went into, that was massive. That was excellent. It's freezing in there.
Yes.
Outside, it was like 30
you
degrees.
Walked up and I had to stand by the door like a naughty child.
It was freezing. It's beautiful.
Yeah. You can then get something to cover your shoulders, but you pay, don't you?
50 cents for a shawl.
Oh, really?
It's good. Yeah, it wasn't dear.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I just stood there and watched you walk down there and then walk back out again.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. It's supposed to fill my gap when I'm having a drink, Mark. Then we went for lunch, of course, because that's what was next. And this is where, we had pizza. And
I tried to hold out for pizza in Pisa.
Yeah, we were trying to hold out.
It looked too good, didn't it?
Yeah, we kept seeing pizzas being served up. So I don't know what this was called, this restaurant. And I haven't looked it up actually, but it was just, you can't go wrong with any of the little restaurants that you're walking past in Florence. There's so many and you just get a feel for it, don't you? So I highly recommend just doing that. And we had pizzas and I had aubergine on mine. And
we shared one, didn't we? We shared that in a salad.
Yes, we shared. And mine come up twice without, I was like, it still hasn't got the tuna on it. And then it come back and I went, it still hasn't got the egg on it.
Yeah, the salad, yeah.
But they were lovely and sorted it very quickly. But it had aubergine on. I was eating aubergine and my lips swelled. I was like, Mark, something's going on with my lips. He went, they look a bit bigger. And I went, oh my God, what's going on? I'm having an allergic reaction. Anyway, nothing got too bad, did it? And I quite liked it.
Do you need to, I said, should we go to like a pharmacy? And you went, no, it's lovely. That's what it is. I was like, okay.
I was like, I don't need to have filler anymore. Not that I've had filler, as you can tell. But yeah, so that was nice just to stop off for pizza. Then next, the famous wine windows, which you likely would have seen on Instagram or heard about. And we went looking for those. There is 180, according to Google, quickly looked at that earlier, wine windows across Florence. The only history I remember is it was kind of what they created in a time around something like the plague.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the plague.
It was the plague. So to not
spread and
just I don't know what, come into contact with other people. So you used to say, still want to sell stuff.
Yeah.
So pass the wine out.
Pass through. Yeah, so now they're wine windows, which are super cute. When you look on Instagram, I don't want to burst the bubble too much, but when you see them on Instagram, they just look like you walk past and someone hands out a glass of wine. Then you take it and you drink it and you walk off. But of course, you got to pay. It's surrounded by people, and some of them are like in a coffee shop or a bar, aren't they? So everyone's sitting outside, and you can either go in to get your wine, or you could just do it through the window, which is what we did.
But out of that 180, I think it's only about 28 that are actually operational still.
Yes. Yeah, so
you've got to make sure that you're going to go and find one that's actually still serving wine.
Working windows, yeah. So,
but the wine was excellent, wasn't it? And you
really
get a decent size.
Yeah.
And again,
€10 a glass of wine.
You'd think if you went to any city, you'd think, oh, it's going to be expensive.
Yeah.
And Florence was not expensive at all.
We didn't find Florence expensive, did we?
No, not once. Well, only one time I thought, that's a bit weighty, and that was that hotel that we didn't have a drink in.
But I wonder also if that's because that's part of us being quite laid back and not booking anything. Because if you're going to book something, you'd go on TripAdvisor or you would be on Instagram and see all these amazing places. They're probably the ones that cost a lot more. But we just didn't do that, and we didn't find it expensive. No. I don't think €10 for the size of the glass of wine we got through a wine window was expensive. That's not,
and the quality.
And it was lovely. It was lovely. So, so we found a wine window and had that there, and then straight opposite, we were surrounded by these American girls, weren't we? Mm. And they were only young college students or uni. Yeah.
So we were in the wine window restaurant outside bit. And then opposite was that really old traditional thing with a huge, massive Parma ham in it.
All the bread.
All the just stacked up with this huge, great traditional bread. Yeah. And then the other group of girls, we didn't know they were together, they were all sipping on Aperol spritzes.
Yeah.
So after we had our wine, I was thinking, I really want to go over there and have an Aperol spritz and just be immersed in that more of a history place rather than this sort of funky wine place.
Yeah.
And it's good, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was good. And we asked the girls what they're all over for. What were that? They
were from Texas.
Texas.
And they were on a wine.
Yeah, like a wine weekend.
They were doing
research,
wine tasting or about wine distribution. So their university subject matter was about maybe hospitality, and this subject matter
and they looked so young
was for wine tasting and the history of wine. So they've all come over all the way from America to just get smashed on wine in Florence. I mean, a trip.
They look Linny's age, didn't they? They obviously weren't because they're uni and Linny looks older. But it just looked such fun. And so we had a little chat with them and they told us what they're doing. And then in this place, we went down to the toilets. You might have seen it on my Instagram. Oh, my goodness. It was like, well...
It wouldn't be open in the UK. It wouldn't be allowed.
No. Toilet, death by toilets, Mark called it. It was down like in a basement, but yeah, it's all part of the fun. And you go into these places as well. These are all really tiny restaurants and cafes. And when you go in, they're full of either, bottles of alcohol everywhere or I can't remember what, but everything's just full, isn't it? All the shelves are full of stuff. Just they're quite amazing to walk in and look at. And so going in just to go into the toilet to one of these places was an experience.
It was like going into a cellar.
Yeah.
It was. There's literally the
very
stairs
steep
were
one.
really steep, tiny little narrow. Then you had to twist you had to twist your body as if you're going to turn around to go down a ladder to get under it and through it.
Put it this way. Be careful how many drinks you have before you go down to a toilet like that.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we come up all in one piece. So
that's good.
Anyway, after that, we then carried on walking. We went back to our Piazza Square because it was our favourite. We'd been and seen it all that day.
It was still fairly early, so we thought, let's have more food and wine.
Yeah, we did. Oh, my God. So we actually did. We then went and had another whole meal and wine. And then I'm thinking, this was about 4 or 5 o'clock. I'm thinking, we've got to have dinner yet. Didn't even call that dinner. We were just, we just sit down, we get a glass of wine, and then we're like, should we see what's on the menu? And then before you know it, we're having a full-blown 3-course meal. So we had that. That was lovely. And then we went back to the hotel to then think, we'll go and chill. We were tipsy. We had a few drinks and the wine windows and all that. Got back to the hotel, we was like just chilling and put the telly on, which was the only telly that was English was World News.
BBC World.
BBC World News with a terrible presenter. I don't know how she's got her job. We were cracking up, weren't we?
Yeah, all the back office staff. So everything she was reading was wrong,
Yeah.
and then she realised it was wrong, and then everyone else realised it was wrong. It's just like a complete setup of people that didn't know what they were doing.
So we were having a right old laugh because we were drunk as well. And anyway, I said, I'm just going to have a little lay down, which is absolute nightmare for me. If you know me, I'll sleep anywhere and I can go off like that. And so we did that. Next thing, woke up. It was 11:30 at night.
And you got a phone call from Linny, didn't you?
Oh my God, I'd got a phone call from Linny saying, because they were a little bit behind us time-wise, Leo was upset, really missing mummy and was crying. So she was upset. So I had proper mum, just that guilt of being away from them. And also typically when we go away, my parents have them at our house, but my parents are in Spain now. So they were like, went from friends to friends, which they loved. But Leo was obviously tired. So I had the whole mum guilt thing when I woke up at 11:30 at night. After having lots to drink that day. So I was emotional as well. But anyway, so we didn't go out for dinner that night. So we could class that 5 p.m. meal as dinner, really,
It was
which
dinner.
is probably the right thing to do. But the fact is as well, people were like, well, you didn't go out for dinner. I was like, well, no, we fell asleep. But that works well for us because then we're up early the next day and we make the most of our days. And I don't know if he says you get older.
We'd probably done about 30,000 steps as well.
Yeah, we were knackered and we'd had a full-on day. So, right, that's... Day 3, checked out, went to the Walking Bell. We turned up at the Duomo Cathedral. It's called, isn't it? Duomo.
It's the main
Duomo.
one. It's the
Sorry
main
if I'm
cathedral.
getting that wrong. Someone Italian will listen to this and laugh. Oh my God, it's incredible. You have to go and see it. We'd seen it on the day before, to be honest, but at a different angle.
It looks fake. It's
it
so
looks
amazing.
So fake. And we sat and had food out there. No one was sitting and having food. I guess everyone was probably going in.
It's so hot and sunny.
Yeah.
And again, going back to how cheap things are, this outside restaurant we went to was right in front of it.
Yeah.
Blazing, beautiful sun.
Yeah.
We're the only ones there. Wonderful.
You won't miss it.
Wonderful service.
Yeah.
And had beers and wine and Parma ham and melon.
Yeah, we did it. We had a light snack.
Cheap.
We had a light.
Bearing in mind the location of it.
Yeah,
it was cheap.
It was.
Florence is cheap.
Yeah, we thought so anyway. So then that day we know we're heading to Pisa because we haven't done Pisa yet. So we decided to head back to Pisa Sunday evening so then we could do whatever we needed to do there, then fly back on the Monday morning, didn't we?
We did the coffee place first.
Oh, we did. We walked to a famous coffee place to have, what are they called, Mark?
Affogato.
An affogato, which is like an ice cream coffee.
Yep.
And we went to a place called Vivello Coffee, Vivelo. Vivelo. Vivello Coffee. It's in the lanes. It's so randomly put.
This
you
is
wouldn't
the
even.
famous one that's been around for like 100 years.
Yeah, so it's been around for years and years. So, and they've got a little window there as well. Again, on Instagram, you'll see a coffee being passed out of there, but
it's just their friend the other side of the wall doing it.
Yeah, their friend goes around and passes their coffee through.
Yeah, you queue up, get your coffee, go and stand out in the street.
Oh,
there is a restaurant.
We're ruining it for people.
No, but it's brilliant. And there's always different people from always different places around the world. It's great.
We had an American lady behind us, photographer. She was nice, wasn't she? You don't remember, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She was literally annoying everyone because she wants to take everyone's photo,
Yeah,
and then all their coffees
She was
and
telling them what to
everything's
do.
melting. She goes, "Oh, one more, do this." Everyone's thinking, "Jesus Christ, love."
Now look at each other, she was saying to people.
Yeah, thanks for taking a photo, but my coffee's, you're killing my experience with the coffee.
So yeah, do that. Definitely have an affogato.
They're
It's
fantastic.
very, very nice.
You got
very
scared by a
nice.
pigeon, didn't you? Or
Oh
the little
my
boy.
God, almost spilt it because of that. Yeah, a little boy chasing another pigeon. And then, so later on, we were had all plans to head back to Pisa. So we had a full-on morning. We went to the market as well and saw the statue of David.
We didn't. The market was next to the building of the statue of David.
Oh,
we didn't go in there.
Right, yeah. So we did that, and also somewhere that we went up to was with the golf buggy. We went up to Michelangelo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good
Is
to
it
go
like
to.
the Piazza di Michelangelo? That's
You go up
beautiful.
high. Yeah.
You can walk it, but that's a fair old journey to walk.
Yeah, if
up
you
and
want to
back.
walk it, you can walk it up there. But if not, the golf buggy will take you up there, and they've got little stalls and drinks
It's
and
beautiful.
stuff. It's really stunning. You get a great view up there of the whole of Florence again. So, we then, before going to Pisa, we stopped in our square for some more food and drinks.
Yeah. Well, normally when you're travelling somewhere, you don't have a drink, do you? But we'd already stocked up on beers and wine, and then
Honestly,
Do we have more food?
What kind of fitness influencer am I, eh?
What food did we have? We must have had more food. And then we just sort of went, right, okay, we've...
The pasta that was full of shells. I had a seafood pasta and
I
I'd
had a
never
steak salad.
known so many shells in a pasta.
It was clams.
So, yeah, it was so many clams. So I was just digging out. It was all a bit of a challenge, really. So we quickly ate that, had some wine.
Yeah.
And then went to...
And then realised we've got to go and get our bags because we've got a train in 12 minutes.
That's it. So another rush.
Yeah, got on it.
But we were fine. Again, got on the train.
Whistled through to Pisa. Nice.
Yeah, all perfect. And then when we got there, we knew our hotel wasn't far again. Just Google Maps. When
8-minute walk.
8-minute walk. And our hotel was such a beautiful little find for Pisa, by the way. It was called the Cini, C-I-N-I, Luxury Rooms. And basically they were like apartments, even to walk into. Yeah. We actually walked past not knowing our...
Just a door,
It was just a door.
It wasn't a hotel lobby or anything. It was just like a block of apartments. Someone's bought it, changed it into a hotel.
You press the buzzer. They tell you... oh, no, she was there, wasn't she, initially?
They buzzed us in, yeah.
She was in like a little office room and it was like an apartment block, but which I've never really stayed in before. Have you? No. And it was lovely. We got to our room. We had the most gorgeous room.
So modern and big, wasn't it?
Yeah, completely different to Florence, which was nice. They'd put a bottle of fizz out for us on the...
It's all chilled
in
that thing. Yeah, it's lovely. We went out on the balcony.
Popped that open, didn't we? Of course we did. And so drank that and then...
Because like that with the massive balcony overlooking that beautiful garden area.
Oh, tiny little garden area. And over there was a family that lived there. And the kids were playing out. The kids were playing outside with like a skipping rope. And it was just really, really lovely and very cute. And I really do recommend it as just like a nice little find. And so we were in walking distance to the Leaning Tower of Pisa, which... You know, Pisa, I think, is only famous because of this building, pretty much. And we headed over there. Beautiful blue skies. Now, when we'd arrived, we didn't have that on the Friday. So everything worked out perfectly. And we walked over there and got our photos of, endless ones of us trying to look like we're holding up Pisa or leaning on it. And it's funny watching everyone do that, isn't it?
Everyone's to be honest, I think the time of year we went, it wasn't massive. It was busy, but it wasn't.
It was okay,
busy.
Weren't it?
So you're just waiting for someone. You go, yeah. Everyone sort of chooses their spot.
Yeah.
Right, I want to go there, and then someone's there, and you wait for them to move, and then you go, and that's your spot.
We was in all kinds of angles.
There wasn't anyone in anyone's way, was there? It was all good.
Yeah. No, it was absolutely fine. And so we did that. And then we had there's a beautiful cathedral again there.
Yes, the grounds are wonderful, aren't they?
It's absolutely stunning. So well kept. Like you can't go on the grass bit and it's stunning. And then there was a cathedral you could go in. This one you could go in and you could take photos and footage. Like in the other ones you couldn't in Florence. And it was so funny. It was busy in there. They had something going on at the front, didn't they? We thought, we'll go in a little bit, the one that we've gone in. And people were getting blessed. And I did put it on my Instagram stories. And Mark went, shall I go and get blessed? I went, yeah, that'd be nice. And
so as in there's the cardinal in there.
Yeah.
And people are sort of queuing up.
Oh, so
and he's got the little disc of bread or whatever it is you see in churches. And I'd never, ever had that before. So everyone's going up there and they're doing the old, the cross.
Which you say is what?
Well, crudely, but this is not me being horrible. It's just people go spectacles, testicles, wallet and watch.
Yeah. And if you're, for those that are listening on Spotify, you won't see what Mark, but pointing in, like doing the cross.
Yeah, so your forehead, your heart, your shoulder to your shoulder.
Yeah.
And basically they're making the sign of the cross. But years ago, I think it might have been East End.
It's probably on like Only Fools and Horses or something.
Something like that, yeah. So I thought, right, okay, just remember that, do that, go up. And everyone was doing it. And I bailed out, didn't I?
You did something weird. You just kind of leaned towards him. It was so funny.
Because I knew I was a fraud. I thought to myself, well,
we're not really overly religious.
I feel like a bit of a fraud. So I thought I had to do something. And then he looked at me and I sort of bowed my head. I did the spectacles and then I just sort of nodded and walked and he put the food in my mouth. And I just sort of walked off all sheepishly.
Oh my God, I was dying. It was so funny. Oh, it was so funny. And loads of people, when I put that on my story, were cracking up. So yeah, we were quick to walk out of there, to be fair. And then, of course, next stop would have been trying to find somewhere to have dinner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which we did. So we walked along some some little lanes, and we found one. I thought I want to sit at the front of somewhere, people watching, and it was right by the Leaning Tower of Pisa. We called this the Bernie Kerrs restaurant because the guy reminded us of my dad, who was kind of trying to pull in the punters, and it was actually called, I think, the Trattoria La Buca. But there's loads along there.
That one was located fair. And again, as we got there, as we doubled back, because we went up and saw a few, and then let's go and see Bernie Kerrs.
Yeah.
And as we went
that's
back,
right.
the table right at the front, someone had just left.
So it's perfect
again,
for us.
That's perfect.
So we only had a little small bite, didn't we, babes?
Well, we thought we'd share a starter, and then ordered another 2 starters because it was so nice. It was what do you have?
Tomato mozzarella.
Yes, nice.
Insalata caprese.
Nice.
There we go. And then we
beer.
thought, and beer. And then we said, oh, should we go somewhere different for dinner? Oh my God, what do we sound like?
I know. And we'd walked past that little inlet one, hadn't we? The pizza place.
We'd seen something like a little bit hidden, and a pizza place again. And we had our hearts on having pizza in Pisa. So we went in there, and
so good.
We think that was called the restaurant Pizzeria Europeo, as in Europe EO. And it was lovely. We had the most amazing red wine.
Oh, everything was good.
Everything was so lovely. Again, we couldn't fault anything. And we didn't book it. We just turned up, had a lovely seat.
Again, got the seat right.
My phone was dying. They charged my phone. Service was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And
again, it's cheap.
And it was lovely lit as well. There's like lanterns all around, wasn't there? So And it was cheap. Cheap as chips.
It's so nice.
Yeah, so nice. So, and that's where we ended up. Then we walked back, and I remember getting lovely photos on a bridge. We had to walk over the bridge, and I got stunning photos. Do you remember? And someone replied back saying, that doesn't look like the Pisa that I went to. So I think you have to be a bit. It was just our walk home. We just ended up on that bridge.
I don't know, atmospheric pressure or the light of the
it was stunning.
Of the sky with
it was beautiful.
The river looked like green, but like a luminous. It wasn't. Nothing was photoed, like doctored, was it?
No,
and then
I
the
don't do
hum
any
of
of that.
all the orangey light. Everything was just lovely, wasn't it?
Yeah, really nice. So headed back, and that was that. That was the end of Pisa. Because in the morning we were up and
we had our breakfast delivered.
Oh, we did. They say, your breakfast is delivered at like 7:30, I think. And we were
because it's not a hotel, so it's not a breakfast room.
So we woke up typically early, and I'm thinking, I'm bloody starving, even despite everything we've already eaten that weekend. I was like, I'm really hungry. And I said, Mark, have a little look. We was up for a bit, getting ready. Heard that. I went, have a little look out the door, see if it's there, see if they've delivered it early. And they did. It was all on a stand on this big tray. There was an option of all your continental breakfast. So we picked it up, put it on our little balcony, and sat and enjoyed that, didn't we? In the morning. And that was
nice.
We actually left quite a bit because we were like,
it was not the sort of stuff that we would typically eat.
No,
but it was lovely.
Yeah, it was really, really nice. So yeah, highly recommend that little place, the Cine luxury rooms as well. So that was it. There's nothing to really report on the way home. Obviously, as easy as anything.
No, just literally walk to Pisa, and then you've got the little shuttle to go to the airport, which is a tram, a push and pull tram.
Yeah, if you go to Pisa, you'll be jumping on that.
£8.
Yeah.
Got in there, took off on time.
Everything was just so easy. Perfect. So easy. And we highly recommend doing that trip, don't we?
Yeah.
Would we go back? Probably not, because we feel like we've done it.
No, I have done it.
Yeah. We're kind of like that, aren't we? We're like, we've done that now. We've done Rome before. I'd love to go to the lakes, like Lake Garda.
Como.
Lake Como. Never been to Venice yet. So, yeah, let us know where you've been in Italy and tell us, where do you recommend we go to next? We'd love to hear. Any questions, stick them on the comments of the podcast is probably the best way to do that, and I'll come back to you ASAP. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed that. Mark?
Thoroughly enjoyed down memory lane, Laura.
Yes, and it was
Until
lovely.
the next time.
Until the next time. So, guys, let us know your feedback, any likes, etc. on the podcast is really, really helpful, whether you're watching on YouTube or Spotify. And until next time, we'll catch you then. See you later.